So and Philip is here to correct me whenever I say something that's wrong. Or hello and welcome to the Duo Power Podcast.
Your speed skating podcast, where we talk about everything speed skating related, inline and long track.
The last 15 years of speed skating have brought us lifelong lessons, memories and friendships, as well as a trip to the Olympics and lives as full-time professional athletes.
In this podcast, we talk with friends and fellow speed skaters.
We bring you behind-the-scene portraits, as well as race reports, training philosophy, inside stories from the skating world, and much more.
This podcast is brought to you by the Duo Power Brothers. I'm Philip Duesmith.
And I'm Stefan Duesmith.
Hope you enjoy listening.
Welcome to the Duo Power Podcast. It's 2020. It's a new year, a new decade. There hasn't been much from the podcast. There was World Cups, Christmas, New Year, family, and a little bit of break from the podcast as well. But we make a strong return here, and I'll say this will be the best podcast of the decade so far, because it's the first one as well. And I am lucky enough to sit here in Weissensee, Austria, together with my brother, Philip Duesmith, to the left of me. And I'm sitting here with two legends, Dutch legends, both, Bob de Vries, here to my left.
Thank you, man.
Hello, yeah. And also Carien Kleibeuker.
Hi.
How was my pronunciation? It's okay? Yeah?
Yeah, it's really nice.
Okay, yeah. So, what we want to do in this episode today is to make a special episode that's minded more on the nature ice and the marathon skating. And the nature ice, the reason why we make this special episode is because we're right now in Weissensee, Austria. Yesterday I was suffering in hell on the ice, the frozen ice here on the lake for 80 kilometers. And we have 3 more races coming up. And tomorrow is the ONK, as it's called, the Open Dutch Championships for nature ice, and it's a 150 kilometer race for the men and 100 kilometer race for the women.
Yep.
So we'll all be participating in that, which is why we'll make this podcast as short as we can, give a short introduction to all this, and then we need to go to bed and sleep so we can race well tomorrow. And also I need to duct tape my underwear, I was told by you, Bob.
Yeah, that's very important, because your special parts should be also kept warm in the race, and when the wind blows through your pants, that's not so good. So I already told you, when you want to have children later, you should duct tape your underwear.
Yeah, and my answer for that was I want. So I want it to work at least. So yeah, tomorrow we start at 8 o'clock. It'll be -7 degrees. So we'll have to get ready for that. But the first day when we arrived, I got a lot of help from you, Carien, and also my brother. We went for an easy recon skating, and you went blasting away with 35k per hour, and then we tried to follow, and then we skated into all the cracks. But then you taught us some things like what's important with the nature ice. What's important to think about when you skate?
You already mentioned the cracks.
Yeah,
they're pretty hard.
I noticed the cracks.
And I found some yesterday, but
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you from inline, and you were really good at the technique part for doing this natural ice thing.
Yeah,
that's just very important to just look where there are no cracks instead of looking where the cracks are. That's always important.
Yeah, okay, that's a good tip as well. Every time I'm with long track coaches, they always tell me like, "Oh, you got so shit technique. It's because you're an inliner." And then you come here and they're like, "Oh, you're an inliner. The technique here is that's good. It's fine how you
really
do."
Perfect.
But yeah, okay. So that was welcome to the podcast. Yeah, and we'll back up a little bit, because I think before we go any further, we should probably introduce the two of you. I think. Most people, or some people, have probably heard of you. All Dutch people have probably heard of you, but there's a lot of inliners here as well listening. So just to sum it up, Carien, for you, you're 41 years old, and I asked you this earlier, and you started skating in 1988. That was fixed skates, yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had your first marathon 2002. You went to your first Olympics in 2006 in Italy, Torino. And you were also at the Olympics in 2014, where you got a bronze medal at the Olympics on the 5K. And you're 4 times Dutch champion as well. You hold the national records on the 5 and 10K. And you also have the world record on the 1 hour continuous skating, like on cycling, with 1 hour going all out. You went 40.5 k per hour average for 1 hour. Did that hurt?
Well, it did hurt, but it hurt really slowly, so you don't really feel it.
Okay, yeah, that's a tough woman talking right there as well. So, last off, to complete your very impressive resume, you have, I was looking on the website called Speed Skating Results, where you have your best times on all distances. And you have 1,000 meter on 1 minute, 24 seconds, and 0.4 of a second, back from 1999.
Yeah, and did you see where I raced it?
Outdoor, Passalga
Yes, yeah. So it's a really good time.
So 99, that was like, you did your 1,000 meter, and you're like, okay, no, I'll just stick with the long distance and do all that. That was your last 1,000.
I was really happy with that PB.
Oh,
I still remember.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I had some hot shock, and then I went. It was a perfect race.
And then you think, okay, no more. Perfect, I'll leave it there. Okay. It takes a long time to introduce you guys. You've been doing way too well for way too many years.
Yeah, we are way too old.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Carien, you also said you're stopping. This is your last year after a lot of years of skating.
Yeah, enough years.
Enough years, yeah. 3 decades of skating, and you're stopping. Well, and Bob, you have plenty more years to come, yeah?
Yeah, I don't know how much more years, but I just plan to go on for at least 1 year. For sure.
At least 1 more year, yeah. And you're right now 35 years old. You started in 94, the year I was born. That's when you started skating. You've done a marathon since 2003 as well. That's a lot of years. And you're a Dutch champion on marathon on Naturize in 2010 and in 16 on track. And also Dutch champion on the 5K in 2010. You had a famous race in 2017 where you beat Sven Kramer on a 5K. So you qualified for Olympics in 2018 as well. And yeah, you've both been with the A-Wear team and Jillet Anema for the last 5 years or something. So
I train almost all my life with Jillet Anema. So yeah.
Let's start with that. How a lot of people know him as well, but how is it being coached under Jillet or training with Jillet?
Yeah, I think very different as a lot of people expect it to be. A lot of people know him only from the outside, and then he's known as a very rumorous guy with who yells a lot. But in the team, he really goes for it. He's skating before and skating after. That's all his life. And when you are in his team, he fight for you. And for me, that works very well. When you have. He's straight at everyone, and some people cannot reward it, but I like it, and you can also be straight to him. He also like that. Yeah.
He had a famous interview during Olympics with where he said the Americans. We'll leave it to that. You can try on YouTube at Jillet Anema interview USA or something. You'll find it. Carien, for you, how has it been throughout the year? Have you been with Jillet for all the years, or did you go from coach to coach?
Well, I know Jillet for a real long period, and when I went to Olympics in Torino in 2006, the summer before, he already helped me with some programs, and then later on I quit skating and became mom, and then started again. But again, I started training with his programs. Yeah. So it worked really well for me. His kind of structure, and I also think one of the most important things he learned me is to. Look really open-minded and train. Like every time you train, you go a little bit out of your comfort zone. Yeah, it's not much fun all the time, but when you look back, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. So that's what he brings me. Yeah.
What year did you become a mom?
2008.
2008. Yeah. And then you were back skating.
2013 I went training more. Like before I was a coach on the marathon women team. Okay, yeah. Did some races myself, but not much. And then I started training again in 2013. Yeah. So I went, after 1 year of training, I went to Olympics.
Yeah. How was that coming back? Was that a hard fight back or?
No, I just went easy. It was just just doing, and only when you look back, then it's like, wow, I made some steps and getting better. So.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the nature ice and all that, because I'm coming from my perspective and it's my first time here. When was the first time you did the nature ice skating? Not necessarily Weissensee, but first time you stepped on nature ice. When was that, Bob?
Yeah, you said I started skating in '94, but before that was my first time experience in Holland. Yeah, that's very common when it starts freezing. Everyone wants to be on the ice, and I started over there. So in '94 I really go to a club and start training. But before it was I think I was 6 or 7 years old, and then in the neighborhood go on the ice.
Everyone in Friesland, they go crazy when the canals are freezing.
Yeah, even when the weather forecast says it starts freezing, then they already go to we got ice. And so yeah, it's really when you don't live there, you cannot understand it. The people really get crazy a lot. Even.
Yeah, just me as an outsider coming there and then being there as like Friesland is something else when skating. People are crazy there. How about you, Carien? The first time on nature ice, was that the same for you as a kid?
I think it's almost the same. It was in 1985, 86. So that was Elfstedentocht.
Oh, yeah, that's 97.
But the one before is 85, 86.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. She's very old, eh?
I was really little, and I wanted to skate on the wooden skates. And my one of my friends, she had really nice, like those real skates, and I wanted them too. And my parents said, "Okay, you can have them, but then you have to go on skating lessons."
Yeah.
So that's when I started.
Yeah. Okay.
So, but my first experience was really same as Bob. Go outside, play all day on the ice.
Yeah.
Really much fun.
Yeah. Now you mentioned it, so we should probably explain this. So the Elfstedentocht is a Dutch word that means 11 cities trip, or is it
tour?
Yeah.
Tour. Yeah. So you can correct me after this, but basically it's a race on the frozen Dutch canals when it's a really cold winter. It happens very rarely. The last time was 97. But then it's a trip from 11 different cities. And how long is the race?
200k.
200k, yeah.
So what you're gonna skate next week is the alternative Elfstedentocht.
You just reminded me that on Wednesday, just in a few days, I'll have to try and skate 200 kilometer on that. But thank you for that. So the Elfstedentocht, how big, to an outsider who doesn't know about, how big is that race, Carien? If you were to explain.
Yeah, maybe you should ask Bob, because he is a real training and going every year. He really likes to be the Elfstedentocht there. I'm not that thinking about it as he does. He's dreaming about it every night, I guess.
I think the only reason the reason that I started skate was the 11th city.
Yeah. Yeah,
for me, but it was the one of 97. But then for me it was also I want to be a marathon skater. Yeah, and it's a very big event. I think even the whole every kid of school in Friesland, for sure, they get a day off of school because just to watch the race, because it's
that's
so
the most
they call it ijsvrij. That's day free for
ijsvrij.
Yeah, ijsvrij.
Perfect. Oh, okay,
So it's that big, and then in every city there's one big party with thousands of people next to it. But what you said, it's already 23 years ago. So
yeah. Did you skate in 97?
No. I was 11, 12 years old. So I did.
Come on.
But I did.
Excuses.
I did a tour. That is the half of it, and so I did then 115k or something. So
when you were 12?
Yeah, I was in the ground school. So I think I was 11 or 12 years. Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's called.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah.
I was about. So that's how they made you this tough.
Yeah, I think it was with my mom and my sister also did it. Yeah, we were with the whole family. So,
So your sister, you should probably say the name. That's
Elma de Vries.
Elma de
A
Vries.
lot of inliners know her better than me. So, yeah.
And you have a brother as well, Bart?
Yeah.
De Vries.
He's also more ice skater than inliner, and he's also here in Austria